to eat. I don't ask you your circumstance. I ask you if you're a banker, if you're a drug addict or what. I tell the young lady, give him or her what they want to eat. I don't even pick out what you can have on the menu. Most of the time you eat more than I eaten. You understand? But I say that I'll never refuse a brother or sister a meal.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not Christian, Muslim, or any of those that thing. Because I stopped calling myself all them stupid names. Because people call themselves all those names. What does it mean? Don't mean a hill of beans. It's just something that's in a way, a big cross, a big crescent, a big whatever else that they wear. And I look at the behavior, man. What Blackman and Nile is saying here is how your ancestors did the thing.
Take this, Doc, for a moment into something, and I was reading this morning from the book of Coming Forth by Dave, a piece that was about the 40 negative confessions. You've talked about this often, and when we talk about the 10 Commandments, this is probably one of the most graphic examples of how, in this instance, the Christians borrowed from the cosmogony these 40 negative confessions, which they turned into the 10 Commandments. But you understand. No. They don't steal, they borrow. You know, so we understand.
As it says, we carry different passports as we came in. Some got student visas, some got diplomatic visas, and each of these visas you could say certain things, you can't say the other one.
Exactly.
Okay, we understand.
Yes.
Well, in my case, I could say they stole it. And not only stole it, plagiarized it by changing it to fit a European conscience. But the so-called 10 Commandments, you will find in every one of the, in the 42 admonitions to Goddess Ma'at, which is also called negative confessions, and other semantical words you can put together. When Moses supposed, and then look at the way in which they do it, and you see, it's a way, if we knew, they couldn't continue to do it. Every one of us, Judeo-Christian, Islamic, has the Moses myth. That he was born in Africa. Of course, Egypt got no record of this, but they got it somehow. That he was born in Africa in a place called Egypt, in a city called Goshen. And that he was trained in the ways of an Egyptian priest. That meant he had 40 years. He went into school at 7. He got circumcised instead of 7 years, the Jews got 7 days. He's got to change it somehow. And he spent 40, after the first time, 40 years of rigorous training and became a priest. He knew all there was to know in Egypt. There isn't a single Jew in the world, any other place, but in Ethiopia and Sudan. Right? Because he said he married the daughter of the high priest of Cush, of Ethiopia. He married an Ethiopian woman. Okay. So that only from Egypt up to Ethiopia, there are Jews in the world. There's nowhere else. So let's get the biblical thing, even the little lion story. Let's get it right. Let's get the chronology right.
Okay.
Now, all of them are in Soulville, Africa. Right? There ain't a Jew known anywhere else. They're all in Africa. All right. But they're blonde in Africa. See, look like Dan Ravitch. You got to get their scenario and our scenario. Now, what is it he learned there? When he went to school, there is already, and he went to school in Luxor, which is now called Luxor, the Greek scholar Thebes originally was set. He learned, among other things, theosophy, philosophy, engineering, mathematics, science, liberal arts, medicine, everything. He doesn't realize he's a Jew until he's 85 years old. He saw a man, the soldier of the Pharaoh, killing a Jew. Then he realized man, I'm Jewish too. And then kill the man. Violated. He had just read the law every day. Thou shalt not kill. Not only he read the command, he read the answer that says, I have not killed man or woman. That's why they call it negative confession, because it's responding. Right. The law's already been given. Now there is no Jewish state. There is no Jewish priest but him. There is no Jewish language written. Anything he got a written language, anything scientific, mathematics, he gets here from Soulville. From, if you were in Crackerville, they'll say he got here from niggers. I will use the term, but let me emphasize it now, since black folks calling each other niggers in Subway. Let me say it for some good reason at least. All right? We got it, the chronology good, right? He's 85 years before he started to organize people to leave the country. But anything he know about science, mathematics, law, engineering came from this education. There isn't a single other Jew you could point out that is intellectual like Moses. Then who trained the Jews then? Other soul brothers and soul sisters, priests. There is no Jewish Sanhedrin educational center yet. That's not going to come until 700 BC. That's 100 years later. There's no Jewish Bible yet. Not even the book of Genesis is written yet. Everything he knows comes from the spiritual writings of the people there in Africa.
We're live at the Apollo Theater. Dr. Ben is with us in the GBE. It's about 10 minutes before 2 o'clock. We're going to take an opportunity right now to give you the chance to talk with Doc at our stage left and stage right microphones. Those of you who've spoken already, we have to give some other folks a chance. So let's give some of the new people or some of the people who haven't spoken today a chance to come up to us first and right away. 692-9542 and also nationwide toll-free number 1-800-332-1023 are numbers that will put you in touch with us inside of our broadcast. In light of the time that remains, please speak in terms of questions or only a very quick statement at most. We do not have time to give each of you any extended amount of time. Okay. So please bear with that. Your questions directly to Doc so he can respond to them as quickly as possible.
Gary,
we'll start with, yes, Doc.
What is difficult with a minister, a rabbi, an imam, explaining this? He doesn't need a book from me. His own Bible got this in it. His own Quran, his own Torah have this account by Moses in it. Why can't he take time to speak about this rather than getting me ready for the next world? I got hell of a time making it in this world and getting me ready to go.
Dr. Ben, of course, as most of you know, speaks as someone who has been a member of the Jewish faith as well. Good morning. Go right ahead, please.
Oh, good morning. Hotep, brother.
Hotep.
Okay, Hotep. Dr. Ben, it's Reverend Kennedy. I would like for you to just expand, if you can, for a minute, if you have the time, about how Yoruba religion and how that the Islamics had chased them from the upper part, from Nigeria to Egypt. Thank you.
Islam in Nigeria came down from Northwest Africa, called the Maghreb today, which would be Morocco, by Africans who had converted to Islamic theosophy, a group of people called the Almohads, later was called Almoravids. They had destroyed ancient Ghana, first the city of Kumbi and then the city of Kumbisela, forcing other Africans to convert to this new faith, and it reached its high point in northern Nigeria. The Yoruba religion, on the other hand, came down the Nile Valley, or I should say up in this case, and it came across because of the Arabs pushing many African groups from where they were originally. For instance, the Funds of Dahomey were really settlers around where modern-day Tanzania is, but was pushed by the Arab slave trek all the way back and back up because they lost the wars until they wound up on the west coast of Africa and became the first Africans to join the slave trade in terms of dealing with it. Africans never joined it until It had been in place over 200 years by the Arabs. Now, the Yoruba religion have the same structure as the religion along the Nile. For instance, you have the gods and the lesser gods or demigods, the goddesses, that you have, for instance, Olodumare, who is also called Olorum, and Shango. Olodumare is the father, Shango is the major son, and so on and so on. So these are outgrowths. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are outgrowths of what started in the Nile Valley.
Talk Radio 1190, WLIB, right to our telephone line. Thank you for joining us. You're in the GBE Live at the Apollo. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, Hotep, Dr. Ben, and Assalamu alaikum. Dr.
No,
Ben,
hold on one second. We got to get the telephone line first, but stand by. Go right ahead, please. You're in the air. I was going to say, boy, that phone line sounds clear. I'm amazed. Go right ahead. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gary. I would like to say hi to you and also Dr. Ben.
Thank you.
My name is Ernest, and I'm calling in reference to the question you posed about being the female being ahead, black female being head of the Black Panther Party.
Quickly, if you can.
Elaine Brown.
That's correct. Stand by on hold, and you are congratulated. You are the winner of our Seeds contest. Elaine Brown is the correct answer.
Thank you.
Sheila, if you can put this brother on hold and go right to the next caller for a comment with Dr. Ben. Go right ahead, please. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Hello, go right ahead, please.
Yes. Gary, how you doing, Dr. Ben and Gary?
Yes.
Dr. Ben, once you had mentioned about Jesus Christ having a brother. You said the 7 books that was missing. Could you explain that a little more, please?
Thank you, caller.
Jesus, according to the Christian Bible, have many brothers and sisters. The Christian Bible says Jesus and his brothers and sisters. James the Lesser in the Protovilion, people forget that there were 18 books taken out of the Christian Bible. One of them is dealing with the Book of Mary. The Roman Catholics have since edited them and put them back and called them the Apocrypha.
They've been put back.
Yes, in the Catholic Bible, not in the Protestant yet.
Interesting.
The Catholic call those 18 books the Apocrypha. But they have edited many things out of them. But even with the editing, there's one called the Protovilion, and it speaks of James the Lesser, the Bishop of Caliandrus, older brother of Jesus.
Talk Radio 1190 WLIB. The knowledge keeps rolling. Let's keep going into a live audience. Go right ahead, please.
yes, Hotep, Dr. Ben.
Hotep.
Very interesting subject matter you've covered today. And Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Ben, my
Stage
question,
right mic, please. Thank you.
my question is, in your discussion of your book, The Black Man of the Nile and His Family, you mentioned Allah and how the Black Man of the Nile and his family existed before Allah, other known deities of other religions. And then also you went on to say later on about the Muslims. Black Man of the Nile was before the Muslims. My question is that I would like you to address, so that the audience and the listening audience receives clarity, is in your holding Malcolm in a high regard, how do you distinguish, or what is your concern of what Malcolm professed he believed in and what Malcolm acquainted us with as a truth that he revered? And I state that to say to you, or to ask of you, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan's National Special Assistant, always says in his speeches that he studies your works, and he loves you, and he quotes you most often, almost all the time. He will be speaking at Harriet Tubman next Wednesday the 25th, on an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I'd like to know...
Let me just jump in. You got the point across.
Right. I'd like to know,
Dr. Ben, can you
have you met him? Do you know him? And, how do you feel about Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad?
No, that's two different questions, brother. You asked the question first, obviously, would have had different implications. I think Doc can deal with that historically, which is the best.
I met the Lamb, much less Malcolm. Malcolm, who's a close associate, as you would know, and I'm with the family. I respected the Lamb. By the way, that's a very close name for the late Prophet Elijah Muhammad. Very few people call him the Lamb. And knew him when he was Mut right here in New York. And the transition, so there's no problem. I knew Malcolm when he was out here at the hotel used to be here, Braddock Hotel with the Star Barber Shop. We used to have a haircut together. very closely, even before any of the children of the marriage. I worked close with our brothers. You know, I was with the family at the burial, and I took my hand with Brother Smalls, and we buried him. So I was close to the brother. And I would speak to the brother of my concern in interpreting.
We have just a couple of minutes left, Dr. Sherman.
Now, I also know Brother Khalid very well, as much as he knows me, and respect him. That doesn't have anything at all to do with the interpretation coming from an Arabic perspective that distorts the African reality of what has been come down from our forefathers to be distorted by Arabs. It's my duty to look out for the interests of Africa. I don't look out for the interests of Asia, nor any other continent. It's my duty to protect the interests of Africans. I am a bigot. I am bigoted in this direction. And anything that would damage this relationship between me and my people and our land, I will fight with whatever means necessary.
We are out of time.
We'll fight with you.
We are out of time. But let me say this for Doc and for all of us. We thank you for coming. You fill the house up today at the world-famous Apollo Theater. We love you. Let's thank Dr. Ben for joining us today live at the world-famous Apollo Theater. Stand by. Mark Rowley and Mark Palmer next. Remember, life is the ultimate trip. Once you learn to experience it in the end, experience is the best teacher. Hotel.
The fact that he made